Are you here to see Sister No? Do you have an appointment?
Yes, yeah, we have a 3:30 appointment. It's me and, mayoral candidate Sex Gremlin Tristan.
How you doing? Nice to meet you, mayoral candidate Tristan. I'm a sex gremlin. Nice to meet you. Will you shake my hand?
Of course, I've seen your ads. Yes, please.
Thank you. You're very progressive. Do I have your vote? Can I count on your vote?
Well, listen.
I'll see you at the polls. You're gonna vote for me, right?
My wink says yes, but my mouth says no, because until Sister No announces her support, we're not allowed to say. That's all.
You're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say who you're gonna vote for.
Well, that was Sister No's demand, yes. She said that she would make
No,
a decision.
Let me in right now to talk to her. I gotta talk to her.
Yeah, she'll be ready. She'll be right down in just 1 second when you can have a seat right over here.
Sister fucking
Thank
No is
you.
not gonna tell everybody to
thank
vote
you.
for a fucking
Tristan.
sex gremlin.
Tristan,
not-
well, you don't know that. You don't know that. She wants to support your rights. Why wouldn't she? I mean, I think you're the best candidate to get Sex Gremlin rights.
I just don't know why we gotta have a fucking appointment with a lady who apparently supports sex gremlins but won't support the only sex gremlin running for public office. What's the fucking deal?
We got to have an appointment because she's busy running her organization. I mean, that's why we have to have an appointment. But
Clark, you don't understand what I'm saying. This woman is supposedly the most progressive person on sex gremlin issues. Why wouldn't she just automatically support me?
Well, I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe she's planning a big ceremony to support you. Maybe she wants to do something big.
She told her fucking receptionist that she couldn't even say who she was voting for until she fucking knew.
Well, maybe she's not allowed. I don't know, Tristan. I mean, listen, this is
You're
just
supposed
the
to be my
politics
campaign
of it.
manager. You're supposed to fucking know.
Well,
That's
I
your
do
job,
know.
Clark.
This is listen, calm down, buddy. This is the politics of it. Some of it you're just going to have to learn along the way, skin of your back,
Don't tell me what I gotta learn. Don't tell me what I gotta learn. I went to university. Your university.
I know you did. It was a good program. And I know you've learned a lot and you're ready to lead. And I think she will see that too.
Thank you.
No, we just have to wait. Do you want a Fanta?
I'd love... You have Orange Crush, actually? I prefer Orange Crush to Fanta.
Yeah, let me see here. It's in my bag. I brought it.
You got my
with
seltzer
Okay.
water?
Yeah, here you go.
You know I like double-fisted.
Here you go. Get amped up on your Fanta.
That's fucking delicious. It's not... Why'd you give me the Fanta? I wanted the Orange Crush.
Sorry,
Clark, listen, I'm not sure if this is gonna work out, if this is how our campaign's gonna be going.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I had given you the right drink. Here, let me have this. Here.
I could get a
another
fucking
one. This is
assistant
the
right
Orange
now.
Crush.
I could pick an assistant right up off the street who would help me more than my fucking campaign manager.
Now, don't get your ass in a wad. Now, don't forget your place. You're still a sex gremlin,
I'm
okay?
still a sex... You're fired.
Tristan, no,
Listen,
I'm sorry.
Clark, do you believe in my campaign?
Of course I do.
That's why I hired you. So don't tell me
Thank you.
I don't want to hear any of this anti-sex gremlin nonsense ever come from your mouth again. And listen, I will fucking take my cock and I will shove it so far down your mouth, it's gonna hit your guts and go straight out your cock hole.
Out of my... Well, I guess that would stretch my cock more, too.
Yeah, it's kind of like those reverse things you see where people take something and they shove it in the cock. It's just gonna come from inside.
And it would stretch it out so, like, after you were done, if I was still alive, my penis would hypothetically be long as yours or longer.
Why is that what you're thinking about?
Because it's so big, I mean, it would just be nice.
I don't even know what
Hello?
Oh, yes, oh, come in.
You can come in now.
Stand up, Tristan. Yes, hello, Sister No. Hi.
Nice to meet you. My name's Tristan.
Oh, yes, this is...
Hello, Tristan. And you are?
I'm Clark County, campaign manager.
Clark County, nice... Do I know you from somewhere?
I think I just have one of those faces, but, you kind of have one of those faces that looks like a hooker.
A what?
A hooker, are you familiar? Lady of the night?
Are you telling me I look like a prostitute?
Yeah, but not like in a bad way. It's like a family thing, you know. We just know who looks like a prostitute and who looks like maybe they aren't, and you just kind of
Family
have
thing?
one of those faces.
Is this some sort of sex gremlin terminology I'm not familiar with? Tristan, does
No,
this
no,
mean
no.
anything?
It doesn't mean a thing to me. Clark, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you telling me she looks like a hooker?
I don't know. She looks familiar to me. Maybe it's just something with. Maybe it's
I'm not a hooker.
maybe it's
I
just-
can tell you that first and foremost. I'm not a hooker. I might have hooked up with somebody once, and they gave me money afterwards, but it wasn't related.
Well, I think I just saw your poster on a lot of street corners or something. I'm sorry, sister. No, seriously,
It's
I'm
kind of because
sorry.
it might be because I'm kind of a big deal.
Yes, you are. You're very important, and that's why we are here today seeking your endorsement. I mean, let's cut this shit.
Yeah, we want your endorsement. Why aren't you endorsing me? I'm the only sex gremlin running for public office, and you're not gonna endorse me. What are you doing?
You say you support sex gremlin rights? Well, here's a sex gremlin right here. Support him.
Listen, Clark, Tristan, let me reason with you. Okay, say you're in my shoes, okay? What if you were some sort of sex gremlin who, kind of promoted the stereotypes that people have of sex gremlins? We wouldn't want one of those running for office because it would kind of ruin the whole thing we're doing, trying to make you guys look better, and you come into my office cursing and telling me I look like a hooker. I mean, that's already sort of leaving a sour taste in my mouth. So
Well,
I'm not.
That was me. Sorry, that was me. Don't look bad on him.
Why the
for
fuck
that.
are you ruining my fucking campaign?
I'm not trying to.
You got something against me?
No, I love you. I'm trying to get you. It was my idea to get you to run for mayor in the first place.
Then why the fuck are you sabotaging me? You're doing awful.
I'm not sorry. Sister, no, can we just start over? Go back out in the hallway, come back in, start over?
Sure.
Okay, come on, Tristan, come on.
Are you finished up with your meeting?
No, we just have to go back in and restart. Hang on. Yes, hello, sister, no, hello.
Hello, you can come in.
My name is Clark County. I am campaign manager for Tristan for the People, Sex Gremlin, Mayor.
Nice to meet you, Clark.
And,
I like your wife beater. I think it's very nice.
Thank you. It seems very timeless, doesn't it? Very cross-universal.
Yeah, it looks nice. Like I haven't seen a man wear a wife beater in so long. I mean, wow, and you got a little beer belly too. I feel like everybody's fit these days. Like who needs to be
I
fit?
know. And I really like that you've let your hair gray naturally. I don't know if
Thank
that's
you.
taboo, but I think, I think like Meryl Streep, I think it's beautiful when women age naturally like you have. And got to say, love your hippy-dippy flower top, too.
Thank you. For a couple years I tried to make it go back to its natural blonde color. It wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't for me. I tried the salt and pepper look. I just looked like Donna Hetrick.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's kind of like a skunk, as nice as she is.
I didn't want to look like a
nobody
skunk.
wants to look like a skunk.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If I wanted to look like a
exactly.
skunk, I would, probably do some sort of spell and become one.
That's what I'm saying, and look, Sister No, sincerely, I want to apologize about earlier. Please, let's just wipe this slate clean. I think we're having a good vibe here. Let me introduce you to Tristan, okay? Let's
Okay.
start over here. This is Tristan.
Hi, Tristan.
And maybe he can, Tristan, why do you want to be mayor?
Why do I want to be mayor? I want to be mayor because my people have been trampled on for as long as I can remember. Up until a couple weeks ago, I was nothing but scum. People walked past me. They didn't even know I could talk. Clark County is the first person that ever talked to me.
It's true.
And Sister No, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you're doing for our people. I think you're doing a really good service.
Well, thank you, Tristan. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
How
Thank
did you get involved in this, Sister No?
It's a long story, but I really think you should just listen to MOATAIF. Episode probably around 92, 93 is when this started happening. Actually, I don't remember. Just listen to it on Spotify.
Okay.
And
Okay.
make sure that you click, you go to the ad website or whatever when they say it at the beginning?
Go to it.
When that kid go click the ads.
Yeah, I guess I guess maybe you should write like a maybe you should. This is my idea for you. Now, sorry, Tristan, but I'm starting another business venture. I'll get back to
What are you doing?
representing you in just a second.
starting
but
another
sister,
business
no,
venture?
Listen, I could be your book agent. Let's write a book. You write your memoirs, and I'll get you a book published.
You want to write my memoirs?
Well, I don't want to write it. I want you to write it or figure out how to write it. I'll be your book agent.
So you're a campaign manager and a book agent. What can you not do, Clark?
I can't speak pig Latin.
You can't speak pigo Latin? Oh?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. You just said you couldn't speak pig Latin.
And then you spoke in it, but
What
it,
do you-
you know, I...
What are you two doing? Why are you talking
Sorry.
like we're supposed to be talking about my campaign? Is this not supposed to be my meeting?
Yeah, yes, let's get back on topic. Sister, no, we are frankly, we've been shocked that you and your team have been so non-committal to Tristan. You say you're the most progressive organization for sex gremlin rights, but like I said, here's one right here, and you won't support them.
No, Tristan, I want to tell you, it's not that we don't want to support you. It's that we don't know what you stand for. We don't know what you're going to do. We have a certain set of objectives that we want to get done, and we can't really get behind somebody unless you follow every single one of the things that we want you to follow.
Is it not enough to you that he's a sex gremlin? I mean, come on.
What? I mean, anybody, what if a rapist sex gremlin came on here? What if a murderer came on here? What if the sex gremlin that killed those 5 girls in the park 5 years ago, what if he came up here running for mayor? Would I automatically support him?
No, but he's not. This is Tristan. He didn't do that, did you?
I didn't do it, and frankly, I find it very offensive that you would even say that. And frankly, I think somebody in your position, Sister No, somebody who's running the thing that you're supposedly supposed to start getting us rights, is a human. Why isn't a sex gremlin running this operation?
That is a good question.
Did any sex gremlins before me have the wits, Tristan, to do this? No, y'all are a bunch of bumbling idiots.
You're being very controversial, Sister No, for someone who is supposed to be so progressive.
Well, nobody's hearing me. I'm just trying to say that 47% of sex gremlins are pedophiles.
Oh my god, a 47% comment?
Yeah? Haven't you seen the data?
Oh, I've seen the data. I just think you are racist for...
Sister No, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill her. You think I'm some sort of killer? I might as well just become one.
That's the exact opposite of what you should do, Tristan, and even suggesting it is going to
Sister
cost
No,
you
you are getting
so
my cock
much.
so fucking hard. I'm fucking boiling with fucking anger right now.
Tristan,
Okay,
please
Tristan.
put your cock sleeve back on. Nobody wants to see it. Please wrap it up.
Hang on. Tristan, go over in the
Tristan.
corner and relieve yourself.
Tristan, you're dripping cum all over my floor.
Go relieve yourself, Tristan, please.
Sister Carissa,
Yes?
can you bring a mop in, please?
Right away, Sister No. It's the sex gremlin cum, of course.
Clark, what's going? Why are you bringing this guy in here? Do you really think he has a chance of winning mayor?
I really do, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think if you're going to be for sex gremlin rights, the best way to end the discrimination against the sex gremlins is to put the sex gremlin in power. And he's the first and most smartest sex gremlin, and until I even knew what a sex gremlin was, I thought he was a human being anyway. I trust him.
I just don't know if I can trust you.
What is that supposed to mean? Is it because of the thing I said earlier? I'm really sorry.
It's because of the thoughts you have about the sex gremlins.
The thoughts I have.
The dreams you have about them?
What do you mean? You
know what I mean.
You have them too?
No. I have no such thoughts about sex gremlins. Clark County.
You're giving me a weird vibe, Sister No.
Well, yeah, you're giving me murderer vibes.
No, I have never done such a thing.
I know you've never done such a thing. I know you dream about it. I know you think about it.
I mean, it's in the violent media. I mean, honestly, it's all
The
this
violent
violent
media. Okay, Hillary Rodham Clinton, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
You're gonna
I'm
say
just
video
saying, it
games
seems
caused you to
today-
want to kill sex gremlins? What if I told Tristan over here that you want to kill him?
I don't want to kill him.
Okay,
I love
maybe
Tristan.
maybe you don't want to kill Tristan, but you want to kill maybe somebody like him, one of his brothers.
I don't want to kill any sex gremlin. I think you're coming up with it crazy. Just because someone dreams about the torture room of sex gremlins doesn't mean that they want to actually
Oh my
do
god.
it.
Oh my god, I'm coming. Oh my god. Oh.
He's done. He's finishing. We better finish up here too. Do you want to do the book deal or not?
Do I want to? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Nothing, Tristan. I think we just reached an agreement over here, though. Right, Sister? No, you're going to support Tristan,
Yeah.
or no?
I'll do it. But if you fuck me, Clark County, then so help me God, I will rain hellfire upon you.
I'm not going to fuck you unless that's something that you end up wanting.
Well, I mean, maybe somewhere in the future you could.
All right. Well, my people will be in touch, and we will start shooting an endorsement video tomorrow, if that works for you.
Send it over. I'll give the approval.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this up. We'll get the quick photo up.
No.
You stand next to each other. Oh, okay.
Well, fuck you too, lady. I didn't even want your endorsement. You're a fucking bitch.
Hey,
But
whoa,
thank
whoa,
you.
whoa.
Thank you for endorsing me, though.
Let's go, buddy.
Get out of my office.
Hello and welcome to MOATAIF. Gravy, it's a late night gravy. I don't know that this is the latest that we've ever recorded MOATAIF, but
I
it
don't think
certainly
it is.
feels like it. And not that it's a bad thing, I don't mind in any way, but it's a late night here, it's stormy. It's stormy here in Savannah, Georgia. I don't know if it is there in Columbia, but
It's
we're
windy.
gonna be talking some morbid death tales, sort of. No, not sort of. Just definitely.
Definitely.
So, I've had in my notes for a long time to talk about my embalming story. Is just what I've had in my notes because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And it's just kind of sat in my notes for the longest time because it never really seemed like the right theme for an episode until I came across an article that talked about one woman. Well, there's been a few, but one woman and what happened to her after she donated her body. And it's not what you think, because, I think recently everybody's been not shocked, but I guess interested to learn about, the death farms where they, just let your body rot out in a field and see what it looks like and let it rot in a sewer and see what it looks like. It's not that. It's actually a lot more fascinating.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that?
Death farms? No.
Yeah, they have little body farms, and they'll research, what does it look like when a body has decomposed for 3 weeks in a sewer, so that way they can, then when they come across a body that's been decomposing in a sewer, they can be like, oh, yeah, that's been, because we've now seen what it looks like. Yeah, so that's one thing that could happen.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You say that you donate your body to science. I mean, that's science, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, you don't really get to, and that's really an interesting thing because you really don't get to decide what your body's going to get used for. Like, are you going to be the skeleton that hangs in an anatomy classroom, or are you going to rot in a field or is your brain gonna cure cancer? I mean, there's no way of knowing.
It's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, I know. It's it's certainly morbid. And before the show, of course, we were talking about wanting to reverse the hands of time. So it certainly is a depressing conversation. But I guess we'll flash back in time and start with the embalming story because it's a little less depressing. It's not. I guess the science story isn't depressing either. But my dad at one point started a livery service picking up dead bodies for funeral homes. Somebody's got to do it, and a lot of the funeral homes just do it themselves. But there is a lot of business for like a contract by contact, case by case livery company like my dad started. And he only had a few clients, but his main client was Jackson and Lytle in Springfield, which I think is still Jackson and Lytle, or maybe no, it's Jackson and Lewis now, or Jackson, Lytle, and Lewis. I don't know.
Really? They got a third partner?
But now it's Life Celebration Center.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We weren't celebrating life the day that we were there. For whatever reason, my dad got us admission to just a random embalming. No rhyme or reason from what I could tell.
Now, how old were you?
But me, I want to say maybe 11 or 12.
What? You got?
Yeah.
He did this when you were 11?
Yeah, 11, 12, 13 maybe.
Wow.
And we go into the morgue. Now, at this point, I had already become sort of desensitized to this. I never went with my dad when he would pick up bodies or anything like that. But the minivan that we drove around in was the van that he used to pick up bodies. And at a time, it would have like cots in the back, and I was desensitized to that. And I would go with him to wash the sheets at the funeral home, and there would be times when we would walk into the morgue and there would be dead bodies there, and it's definitely unnerving. I didn't like it. But to a certain extent I was desensitized to it. But when we got there,
just like, this is what my dad does.
Yeah, exactly. And the day, I don't know why, I really don't know why we were there. I don't know why we were there, but that day, me, my dad, and my cousin, but it's Alicia's family, Brandon, went with us. And I think he helped pick up dead bodies with my dad. Like, I think he was one of the helpers for my dad's business. And we went in and we attended while Frankie embalmed a woman. So, I realize some people, and perhaps even my co-host, may never have set foot in a funeral home's morgue. So
Never.
I guess I'll set the scene. It's first of all, it's attached to the garage because it's just like in the basement. You come down this long slope and you go in the garage, and there's just the morgue behind a freezer door. It's it's cold in there, of course, and this is a pretty, it's not like, it's one of the main funeral homes in Springfield. I mean, so it was decently sized. I mean, you walked in and there were at least like 3 big tables that they did the embalming on. So it would be big enough for any size human that you could imagine to lay on, and then bigger for there to be stuff that you set on the outside, like organs and all that stuff. So it's a pretty big table. And then there's like rows, and maybe like 3 or 4 rows of just medical tables, cots on the side to hold the bodies until they're embalmed, of course. And then there's like the racks that you see like in medical shows and like hospitals where they pull out the shelf and the bodies on the dang thing. Anyway, this lady, this young woman, I don't know how old she was, died and had an autopsy, and as a result, so I guess I'm trying to remember the interesting little bits before the actual, because once it's embalming, it's just like, well, she was embalmed. I mean, we walk in, and of course, instantly Frankie's like, okay, the child should not be here. And she's a little like, why is he here? But I'm like, I played Grand Theft Auto. I can do this. And I've been desensitized to death. I can do this. I remember I made a note specifically that in the background of there was a radio playing, because this is just a workplace. This is a day at the office to these people. And I remember while this woman was being embalmed,
Oh God.
the song, it was really popular at the time by Neo, and it was it's that one that's like, I don't want you to go to bed mad at you, and I don't want you to go to bed mad at me. You remember that
God.
one? It was
That's
such a
the song
huge hit
that you
at the time.
associate with seeing an embalming as an 11-year-old kid.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so every time I hear that, I think of that for sure. And just any time I think of the embalming, I think of that song. It's just like they are ingrained together. And it's because as it was playing, I remember, obviously I can hear it playing, but I remember, and this is so weird to think about from the perspective of the dead woman. like to be the dead woman laying on the table, being, I forgot the fucking word, being embalmed. And we're sitting there going like, I really like this Neo song. And my cousin Brandon's like, yeah, what's this one called? And Frankie's like, yeah, I think it's called whatever the hell it's called. And we're just talking about this damn song while she's literally like scraping her with the utensils. Like, it's just wild. It's just absolutely wild.
This is the 14-year-old in me. Was she naked?
Yes, she was.
So you got to see a naked dead woman as an 11-year-old?
Yeah. So interestingly, when we walked in, she was obviously completely naked, as she would be. But Frankie, upon my presence, decided to cover her up and give her some decency and put a rag over her genitals.
That's it?
And yeah.
So what was she scraping?
At that point, I wasn't looking at her genital. Yeah, she had a hairy bush, but I wasn't looking at her genitals, because when I tell you this woman, because she had had an autopsy, she was relatively young, and she was probably like 40, but relatively young to have warranted an autopsy. But obviously, when they do an autopsy, they check every organ and they assess every organ to determine the cause of death. And as a result,
so all of her insides were scooped out.
When she opened her up she removed, because obviously they're cut at the collarbones and down the middle. When she opens her up to start doing the embalming, all of her intestines are in trash bags inside her.
Oh, God.
And she just takes them out and sets them on the table there. And there's an empty woman.
Why the fuck did your dad bring you to see this?
I know.
What the fuck was he thinking? Does your mom know about this?
I don't know. Maybe.
Zach, I doubt she does.
So there's this empty woman sitting there.
Empty woman.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe this really explains why a lot of my writing is just completely
morbid,
violent.
Yes.
Yeah, she's just splayed open body, like you see in the movies. Of an autopsy, her rib cage wide open, all that, just completely splayed open. And for those of you who don't know, the process of formaldehyde or embalming is basically replacing all of the blood in the body, draining all of it and replacing it with formaldehyde, which keeps the body preserved for some time, especially for viewing purposes, is usually why. But it's done. It's just done in general to everybody as standard procedure, and also because funerals are a business designed to hurt the poor, and take advantage of things. Like, not everybody needs to be embalmed. Nobody needs to be embalmed. But it's just like you do it because
you're almost it's required to.
It preserves the corpse. Okay. Anyway, so in order to do that, obviously, I don't know what the utensils are called, but like she lit it. I mean, the only way I could describe it is like as if you took it's all metal. It's all everything I'm about to describe is like metal utensils. But it's like the hose attachment of a vacuum, and it's attached to a machine that's gathering all of the biohazardous material in the back. And when she turns it on, now on the end, imagine like a meat grinder is the best way I could, like the thing that tenderizes meat.
Yeah.
On the end of it, and she turns it on and just
starts smashing her insides
all along the cavities, like all along her back, like just all along the inside of the cavity, just
so
draining.
She's literally
all of the,
scraping out all of her organs.
Yeah, well, at that point, all the organs are in the bag, so it's just like fat and tissue and
muscles and shit.
Muscle and stuff like that. And she's just eviscerating it with this machine and sucking it into this little. It just looks like a little shop vac, but it's gathering biohazardous material. And of course, the whole time, blood just absolutely running down the table into the drain. Water running through her whole body. Disgusting process. And then, once that's done, they essentially put tubes attached to every possible. I don't know where they go, but wherever the embalmist knows to put them, and replaces it all with formaldehyde, takes the bag of intestines and puts it back in there, closes her up, sews her right on up.
So the bag of intestines gets left in them.
Yeah.
Why don't they just throw those out?
Well, I guess if she was an organ donor, they probably would have been donated. But I guess, that's just what you do because if she had just died and then not had an autopsy, they just would have buried her with all of her organs. Well, they would have,
right, but like, oh god, that's fucking gross.
Yeah. It's also gross to think that they buried that woman with a trash bag in her.
I'm sorry, I just can't get off of the fact that your dad brought you to do this. Like, your dad is a true sociopath.
My dad is a sociopath.
It would take a sociopath to do that job.
Right.
I couldn't imagine being that decent. Like, I have never seen any gore like that ever in person. I've never seen. The worst gore I've ever seen is my own wounds.
Right. And gore really does. Obviously in that moment it was very disturbing. I think by far that's the most disturbed I've ever been. Obviously that's the most disturbed I've ever been. But it was. I don't even know why it happened. I think that's like still why I'm like I don't know why it happened. I remember I consented. It's not like I could have left at any time. I wanted to go. So, it's still, a parent should have intervened and said, you're 11, you're 12, you're 13, you're 14, you're 15, you're 16, you can't go to this. But...
yeah.
Listen, this is the guy who watched Girls Gone Wild in front of me when I was in kindergarten. So, we know he's not a stand-up individual. But that's my embalming story. And I know it's
I'm honestly speechless with all of this. Like,
I know.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
It's certainly... and I think at one point, Dennis wanted to become a funeral director. That was one of his pipe dreams at one point as a result of this business. until he realized that you have to go to college to do that.
It was just like,
And
nah.
he didn't even have a GED. So, like, imagine the amount of steps you'd have to go to get from a GED to, like, a master's degree. You know what I mean?
You really
like,
have to go to college to be a funeral director?
at least a bachelor's degree, but to do what he wanted to do, like run a funeral home, certainly a master's degree. It was a complete pipe dream. This from the man who wanted to sell candy bars with greeting cards on them. Dumbass. So sometimes when you die, you go to the death farm, and sometimes you get an autopsy, and then you're embalmed at a local funeral home while they listen to Neo. So this must have been 2007. I guess I could really pinpoint how old I was here. How old were we in 2007?
12.
We were 12, yeah, so I was 12. 12 or 11, right? What I was guessing. And sometimes when you donate your body, now, and here's the other thing I just want to say. Our good friend Alicia Lee donated her body to science. Now,
Yes.
of course, she had advanced and horrible brain cancer, so I sincerely hope that that's where her body went, and that it was used for some good towards that cause. But sometimes when you donate your body, like Susan Potter, a woman who an article was shared. This is a very old article, but it just recently came across my feed. This woman was sliced, frozen, and then sliced into 27,000 pieces.
What? What? Okay.
To study the human anatomy.
All right.
This is from this article that I'll link in the description. Potter is the subject of a profile published as part of the upcoming, at the time, January 2019 issue of National Geographic. Of course, you can't read that unless you buy National Geographic, so you have to read this on livescience.com. And it does include photos of her frozen corpse as well. These pieces, so essentially, it's called the Visible Human Project, and it says that it is, quote, an effort to create digital cadavers that students can dissect on their computer screens over and over again.
I see. Okay, I see. So they're taking her body apart completely so that they can create them virtually so that you could literally take each individual part off if you wanted to.
Exactly.
They're like mapping a human body. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Now, this woman was the third cadaver that had gone through this, but hers was the most well documented, if you will. Like, it says, quote, Potter wasn't the first person recorded into the Visible Human Project library. That accolade goes to Joseph Paul Jernigan, a 39-year-old man chosen because he died unnaturally, executed by the state of Texas. He was chopped into only 2,000 slices.
Now, are they doing this with a laser?
Yes.
Only 2,000 slices.
Yeah, only 2,000. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you hear that Ms. Potter was fucking sliced 27,000 times, I mean, 2,000, it sounds like a fucking...
Good Lord.
It says his slices were each a millimeter thick. So 2,000, you can slice a human 2,000 times and get a millimeter.
Wow.
And he was sliced in 1993. They've been slicing people all the way since 1993. It says also, quote, a second 59-year-old woman whose name was unknown was chopped into 5,000.33 millimeters slices in 1994.
Wow.
Now, right after that, in 2000, this is when this lady that the article has been talking about signed up to be in the program because she thought she was going to die. She had a lot of health problems. And when she signed up, that was originally, they didn't want to include her in the program because they're like, well, we don't want somebody with health problems. But then they were like, well, wait, that's exactly what we want because, you know.
Yeah, we want to study this.
Because for all the reasons that would be beneficial, you know.
Yeah.
Like she has like a replaced hip, and like, you know, so it's like, how would that affect a cadaver, you know, blah blah blah. But she didn't die until 2015, so they waited for 15
Wow.
years.
They still slice and diced her. They're just waiting for this bitch to die.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
Good God.
Yeah, exactly. It says she went on to live another 15 years, dying in 2015 at the age of 87. And over the course of that period, she became close with researchers on the project and medical students similar to those who would eventually study her digital cadaver. And it says she insisted. Oh, I was confused by the wording here. It says she insisted on touring the facility where she would be sliced before she died. She was very involved in the process, wanted to know all about it, which to me feels very morbid. But it says she wasn't afraid to die at all and was actually very excited to be a part of it, which makes me feel okay talking about it because it's like it's for science.
It's not like she didn't know.
And it says so she died of pneumonia. They recovered her body on February 15th, 2015, and immediately placed it into a freezer that dipped to negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It said, this is so weird. I highlighted this the first time. Potter carried a card at all times notifying whoever found her body that they had just 4 hours to get it frozen for the preservation to work.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine? I mean, because I thought about this because when we were in high school, I always talked about being cryogenically frozen.
You did talk about that a lot.
They deal with too, is like when you die, do you just have to carry around a card that says "Please freeze me immediately"? I mean, what if you just drop dead at dinner? I mean,
well, I mean, if you're out like at a restaurant, they could just bring you to the freezer and keep you there until somebody can take you to another one.
I guess you're right. Said Potter remained in the freezer for 2 years, and then in 2017, it said, "Oh my God, this." So they cut her. The first step involved cutting her into quarters, so they just divided her down the middle twice.
Okay.
Which is just wild. And then further reduced those quarters to individual slices into the 27,000 slices of each of those individual quarters of her body, which is just wild to think about. And the last thing, it says that they, because they were so involved with her, she had put all these extra requests in, and when she died, and as they were doing the work, they fulfilled her requests by listening to classical music, and there were specific flowers in the room, and that was part of her request. And they said it was a very emotional experience, I could imagine.
Yeah, just knowing this woman for so long and then just being like, okay, time to slice her into thousands upon thousands of pieces.
What I've been dying to do since I met her.
What she was dying to do.
It's wild. I mean, it's just weird to think about, because we talked about it a lot, like with Black Star too. Like, it's weird to know you're dying.
Yes.
And have that amount of time. But then to be like, this is what's going to happen to me when I die, at least to my body. And then live with that and be involved with it for 15 years.
It makes me uncomfortable, to say the least.
It's certainly wild. I mean, I guess it's one of the cooler ways, because at least, I guess if you donate your body to science, it's you could end up just going to, my dad's embalming school, where he, messes up and can't embalm it, and then they just throw it, incinerate it. You know what I mean? Who knows? Or you could get rotten in a field, but...
I'd rather rot in a field, but I want to go on record saying this. I will never donate my body to science. If anybody tries to claim I did donate my body to science, I didn't. Don't let them. I am also not an organ donor. You're not taking my fucking organs. No. Like, just let me die naturally. Don't cremate me. Don't do none of that shit. Just literally, bury me.
Yeah, I signed up to be an organ donor the very first time I got my license, my permit, and I've kept it ever since then. But I feel like there's a time limit on it, you know? Like, once I turn, like, 45, 50, I'm gonna be like, no more, they're mine now. Like,
When I was 16 getting my license, I didn't want it. But then when I was 21, I was an organ donor actually. But when I was 21, I remember vividly saying, no, thank you. I don't want to be an organ donor. Because then I found out, that there are all these hospitals that, not all of these hospitals, but there are cases of hospitals where they know someone's an organ donor and they don't really try that hard to save them. Because, this person over here needs a heart. This person, we could spend 15 hours on a surgery or, so they present it in such a way that it's like, there's not much we can do.
that would be really bad.
It's happened.
That's like,
you can look
so
it up.
Crooked.
Yeah.
That's awful.
There's this place in Texas.
That's like one of the things that's like the weirdest things about society. Because, I mean, even with doctors, I've thought about it with doctors now, but with pilots, I mean, you just trust. Or with all the people that just have any sort of service, you just trust that they're doing it right and that they're doing their job according. Because I know I don't do my job
exactly
best.
Right.
I mean, so I'm like, so is the guy that checked that our airplane is actually all in one piece? Did he actually check it, or are we gonna die?
Did he come into work hungover? Did he do like a half-assed job? I half-ass things.
Right. I read an article. There's all this. I was down a rabbit hole, but the senator that Al Franken took his seat when he died in a plane crash, and there is conspiracy, unfounded potentially, that they were bad pilots, and there's like all this stuff on the Wikipedia page, so like the pilot had to be regularly told to like use both hands to land the plane and like stuff like that, and like had to be routinely, like he would routinely let the co-pilot take over controls and like all this shit.
That's
and I'm like,
nuts.
how can, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, but you could, and who's to say the next time I try to fly home that's not my pilot? You know, you really trust. You really have to trust that you got an upstanding. That's why they're heroes. I get it now.
People are claiming that pilots are heroes.
I'm sure. I mean, I guess Survivor would. Like Survivor would totally put a pilot
on the Heroes episode of Survivor. Right. A pilot was considered a hero. I mean, they do kind of, they are like pretty. I see a pilot and I'm like, that guy is incredible. That guy can do something that not many humans can. He can literally do what a bird does.
Right.
But flying in general is scary to me just because of the fact that I know that those people controlling it are humans, and I know I know that we're not perfect even in the slightest. Every human is just this sort, like they're just as capable as I am, and I don't know how capable I am of flying a plane, even if I had tons of practice doing it. I'm sure to them though it's like driving a fucking car.
Yeah, which to me, I'm like, let's get this the fuck over with. Like,
right, and especially they've had autopilot for so long, like they're just like, throw it up in the air, let's get it cruising.
I hope that's the case. Good God, but at least if you die in the plane crash, that's one less thing to try to worry about what to do with your body, because it'll most likely be incinerated or lost at sea.
I guess that's true.
Until next time, stay moat.
Stay moat, y'all.
Maynard!